Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. The tree trimmer is finally gone from across the street, so let me try this again. Just an overview of the textbook pages that we have set up for Wednesday and more on Thursday. I'll send a second email tomorrow. I'm going to start sending these screencasts once a day during sex ed unit, and the reason is the majority of the time with this unit, I do the talking, I show the videos, I get feedback from you guys. And I really hate doing this as a distance learning. There's so much information that you can get from questions of other students. If you have any questions at all during this unit, please email me a question. I will not state your name, but in the next screencast, I will address the question and we will go over it so that everyone gets the same information. Honestly, in terms of sex education, knowledge is power. The more you know, the safer you will be as you mature into a young adult and even later in life. The scary fact is people that are sexually active that are aged 25 and older, 50% in general, 50% of those people have at least one STD. But honestly, there are hundreds of different types of STDs, sexually transmitted diseases that you can get from unprotected sex, in which case it's very important for you to understand how you can get those diseases and what you can do. There is a difference between an STI and an STD. Sexually transmitted infection is just that. It's an infection. If you go to see a doctor, you can get a cream, a medication, and clear up the infection that you no longer have it. If it's an STD, that's a disease. That disease, although you can get creams and lotions that clear up the outbreak, you will still be a carrier of that disease for the rest of your life and can share that disease having unprotected sex with any other sexual partner. So the first few pages here are, it's my favorite day during sex ed because someone who talks way too much in class and bugs me too much, if they're a male, they get to read about the female body parts out loud, and if they're a female, they get to read about the male body parts out loud. Kind of my version of teacher torture that makes it a whole lot of fun. But basically, testes are a pair of organs that make the sperm in the male. Testosterone is the male sex hormone that helps regulate the production of sperm and the development of male characteristics in a infant. Sperm leaves, when it leaves the testes, it's stored in the epididymis. The epididymis just holds the sperm until it matures. The vas deferens passes it into the body along with additional fluids. When sperm come out of the male's body, it comes out with a mixture of fluid called semen. It will leave the body when the male is sexually aroused. It's called ejaculation when that semen comes out. And it's a white sticky fluid that has that sperm in it. The sperm will pass through the male's urethra. Urethra is the tube that you pee from, both male and female. It's down through the center of the penis in the male. It's down through the center of the vagina in the female. And honestly, in order to have sexual reproduction, that penis is inserted into the woman's vagina. Down here is an image of it. This is a side view of it. The male does have two testes. Guys, somebody shoot me back an email and tell me exactly what the nickname is for a testes. You can see the penis there with the urethra tube going through it. Going into the next page is about the female. I hate this diagram. For the next screencast I have, I'll show a female diagram from the front. This is showing the side view. This person is facing to the left. You see here that the ovary up top is on top of the bladder area. And that's the reason that as that baby matures and gets larger and larger the last 3 months or so of the woman's pregnancy, that baby is kicking and pushing weight on the woman's bladder, and that's what makes a pregnant woman feel the need to pee so regularly. So within the female produces eggs. She produces eggs within her ovaries. The ovaries are found on the right and left side of the body. The fallopian tubes then go center towards the uterus. Those eggs leave the ovaries when the woman reaches menstrual age. Technically, a woman can become pregnant 2 weeks before their first period ever occurs. And that's because those eggs leaving the body, and it's not necessarily eggs at that time, they've dissipated, it's just blood and tissue that leaves the body when the eggs are not fertilized. That is the menstrual period, but within that, it's the unfertilized egg. So 2 weeks before her first ever period is when she can become pregnant. Those eggs, once fertilized, become zygotes. After a period of 10 days or 2 weeks, those zygotes turn into the embryo stage. That's what I like to say is the tadpole-looking stage of development. And after about 10 weeks of pregnancy, that infant then turns into the fetus stage. The fetus looks like a baby with a huge head. It takes a while for that baby to actually look more humanoid. The last several months they look better because their head is so very large early in stages of development. The woman's hormones are 2 instead of just 1, and they are progesterone and estrogen. Excuse me there. So ovulation is when the woman can become pregnant. I'll have a diagram talking about that. That shows the front view of the woman. Menstrual cycle, most girls early in puberty will get their menstrual cycle. It's different for each girl. Some girls will get their menstrual cycle towards the end of 5th grade year, 6th grade year. Other girls won't get their menstrual cycle until high school. There are stages of your life. Let's say an Olympic track athlete. If you run incredible amount of miles every single day, actually working out on an Olympic type schedule, your menstrual cycle will quit during that period of time. You will not menstruate during that period of time. And it has to do with your body is putting too much towards other areas of what you need to do to be that caliber of an athlete. Late 40s or early 50s is when the woman quits having a menstrual cycle during that period of time. But for those 30 years, 40 years, depending on a woman's age, most women will menstruate once a month every 28 days. Now, some women have odd schedules. They don't work every 28 days. It's really nice when it does. Then we get into multiple births, twins, and triplets. I will have a video that goes over the differences between identical and fraternal twins. And then we get into reproductive system problems, and I will have that video for tomorrow. Thanks.